Trish. How are you?
I am great, Terry. How are you? I'm so excited to see you today.
Oh, thank you. I'm wonderful, and it's wonderful to see you. It's I'm getting used to seeing people over Zoom instead of in person, but this is really nice to have you as our guest on the Choose Courage movement. And thank you for participating.
Thank you so much for having me. I didn't know if I was supposed to wear my mask or not, so I opted to know.
You were safe. Yeah, we're safe, I think. I hope we're safe.
Right?
Yeah. It's nice not to wear it for a minute. I still wear my lipstick though, and in my mask, just so I can feel good. So introduce yourself to the audience. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm Trish Walker. I live here in beautiful Park City, Utah, but I grew up a Jersey girl. That occasionally comes out in me, especially if you cut me off in traffic.
Nice. I understand that. I do.
Totally. But Terry, right now in pandemic world, I am wearing several hats. Among them, intuitive coach. I do energy healings. I'm a speaker. I'm working full time, and the hardest job of all, I'm a mom to a teenager.
Yes, my hat's off to you for that. Yes. But I kind of heard he's really a good son.
Yes, he's a good kid, but don't tell him I told you.
I won't. But you're like so many others, that wear so many hats, and most people are like, how do you do all that? And aren't you an actor too?
Well, I'm adding a few things. Author. You and I both.
Yes.
I'm in the middle of pushing through to book number 2, which.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yes, I am working on a few. I've done Yellowstone, lots of Hallmark Christmas movies. So yeah, many hats with my mask right now.
I just love it. That's one thing I really love about you, is that you just go for it. You just like, okay, what's out there? What can I do next? And that leads me to my first question.
All right.
In a new moment in time, right now, do you see yourself as courageous?
Wow. Yes, I do. It's taken me a while to get there, but with your help, especially reading your book and really looking at how some people are dealing with things right now. Yeah, I am going to say with a big yes, I do have courage.
Wonderful. And how do you know that you had courage, or when was the first time you realized you actually put the name or the definition of courage to what you're doing or what you have done in your life?
Someone asked me to really sit and take stock of what I've done in my life. This was just recently, actually. And I think that's when it really started ringing true that I'm doing this despite everything going on in the world. And I know you are too. I'm stepping over it. So one of the biggest things I'm seeing that I have courage around is not buying into what society is telling us to do right now. There's so much opportunity and prosperity out there right now. And I know people are going to be like, what is she talking about? Right. Just having the courage to get up every day and making that decision to, I do have my flare up moments. I was just telling someone at work today that every couple of weeks I have my flare up around masks. Or I have my flare up around, you'll laugh at this, the arrows in the grocery store. If someone's going the wrong direction, it makes me angry. But having that courage to get up every day and make that decision of, we've been gifted with another day, how am I going to fill it to the brim?
Oh, Trish, that is really a courageous act to really fight what the societal thinking is happening around you.
Yes.
And better than anyone else, because of your profession, how powerful our thoughts are and our energy.
Definitely.
Yes.
Totally. I've become that person at my day job. If I hear somebody saying something I can't or I won't, I'm like, let's switch it up to this. Yeah, maybe we have to do things differently. Or I'm hearing a lot of, I can't wait till things are normal again. And I
true.
go, first of all, define normal. If you can give me a definition for that, go ahead. But I'm like, let's have the courage to have a new normal and do things differently right now.
I love this. This is so good. We have to really challenge ourselves, and it does take courage, challenge our perceptions of things. And what if we could see it differently than what everyone around us is seeing? Like, what if we really get
Absolutely.
it? Yeah. And that's what
Absolutely.
you're doing and saying, you know what? There might be another way to look at this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I
And
love
we need to do that right now. We do.
We do. We do. And it's been long enough to where we kind of have a choice. We could either keep going down this same path of like what's going to happen and the unknown, or maybe
Right.
even start to get excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What-
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if you've noticed a shift in the last couple of days, but what I'm seeing is people hinging a lot of hope on these vaccines and stopping precautions around
Yes,
it.
yes. It's like that new phase. It's like we've been through all these different phases, which is so
Mhm.
interesting.
Very,
Um,
very interesting.
it is. It is. Yes. And of course, we don't know what the vaccine's going to be, but whatever
Right.
it is, it starts within. And
Mhm.
we do have to be courageous to think above and beyond what the normal or average person out there is thinking or believing, because your
Absolutely.
thought is powerful. And so you are demonstrating courage every day by challenging your coworkers or people around you. So I really take my hat off to you for that. I really congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's impressive. So that leads me to my second question. Have you, so it's two parts. Have you chose courage over doubt or fear in your life in a way that really made a transformation? And or is there something left that maybe you haven't even told anyone that you might do that would require you choosing courage over fear or doubt? You choose which one you want to go with.
Good question. Well, the first question I can answer quickly, because I would, again, thank you for these questions because it really brought up some really neat memories for me that I hadn't thought about in a long time. About 20 years ago, I was given the opportunity to move to Europe.
Hmm.
And eh, that was a big, huge thing for a Jersey girl that had never lived anywhere else, who grew up in a family where, yeah, women don't work. My
Hmm.
brothers have married women that don't work. My mom bucked the trend. When I was 13, I was the youngest of five, and she went to nursing school. And the fights in the house, wow. So I was given the opportunity. I worked for Johnson and Johnson at the time to move to Europe for 2 years. And I had to really dig down and find that courage because even my own family members were my biggest critics. I
Hmm.
could never do that. I wouldn't do that. And I stepped over that and found myself living in near Brussels, Belgium.
Wow.
And tapped back into that the other day when I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything. And I was like, girl, you moved to Belgium for 2 years.
That's amazing. I mean, it is
Oh,
amazing,
it
especially
was
under the
great.
societal pressure that you had, family pressure, which is
Right.
interesting thread in your life
Yeah. Yeah,
that you've been
definitely.
speaking about. And I love how several times you have mentioned that you step over it.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it's like I don't need to really go through that. I'm just going to step aside or over it, which
Right.
I think is so beautiful. But how often do we forget about these things that we did that maybe when you were doing them, you're like, well, I'm just doing what I need to do. And
Right.
instead of reflecting on it now and saying, that really was a courageous act.
Exactly. So again, thank you for bringing up that memory. And I do, as I'm stepping over, I do feel those doubts. And that leads me to your next question, just about, I have written my first book and we share an editor. Thank you, Stacy.
Yes. And what's the name of your first book? Just give it a shout out.
It's called Oh Honey, I'm Just Getting Started.
Okay,
And
I love
I
this.
did 50 new things in my 50th year.
Yes.
So that was again me bucking societal norms of, oh my God, you're turning 50, time to start. I mean, it was amazing. I interviewed some people around me who were like ready to pick out the box because they thought they were old.
Yes.
And
Crazy.
so putting that out into the world, because it was just a blog, I was keeping, I had 1 or 2 readers, and all of a sudden I have a book. So that took a lot of courage. My next book that has been taking me several years to get out, that is where that doubt is coming in. This one is more real and raw. And so I finally have a stack on my desk that I'm rearranging. And so I'm finding myself back at, it's time to step over it again.
Oh, congratulations. And thank you for telling us this and being vulnerable enough to tell us that this book is raw.
Right.
And I do think that's one of the most courageous things, is when you are really expressing something that's really deep within you, that maybe the real you, some truths that you know. That's one of the hardest things to do.
Yes, that's why it's taken me years.
Yes, exactly.
Where this goes.
But we're here to champion you on to choose that courage, because you've demonstrated throughout your whole life, obviously, with your stories. So
Right.
what do you think would help you take that last little step that is challenging you right now?
Staying in that lane, focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's finding that focus. And I realized that the other day I sat down to finally compile, and here I can show everyone what it looks like right now.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love that. I love all the sticky notes too. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Distractions and setting boundaries around when I have that hour or 2 a day to write and the door knocks and, hey, mom, I need a ride. It's finding that strength within myself to say, listen, I need from 1 to 3 o'clock for me. After 3 o'clock, I will do things with you. So it's really setting those boundaries. And when you're doing something like writing a book, it's treating it like a job. I'm sitting at my desk for this certain amount. So it's that focus. You and I both know that right now there's so much going on in the world that I see people going, well, I'm not going to do it until the pandemic's over, or I'm not going to do it until there's a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's that stepping over and keep moving forward. So thank you for asking that question.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I have no doubt that you will stay focused and that you're committed to this book. And I can't wait to read it, and we will celebrate with you. And please, anybody that's listening to this video, this interview today, give a shout out to Trish, and let's support her in finishing this book. And just flow her a lot of energy, and we all need it. And that's one thing, and one reason I'm doing this is to know that we're all in this together, and that we need to rise above and step over all these preconceived ideas and limiting thoughts or perceptions that, especially this year, that might be holding us back from really living our full potential and our dreams, and writing that book or starting that new career that you don't know any idea of how you're going to do that, or something you've been passionate about that you want to do that you've not told a soul. So that takes courage.
Yes. Thank you. Just verbalizing and get in the group and share your dreams, because once they're up and out of you, the universe will conspire to get them to you quicker.
Oh, thank you, Trish. Thank you. So everyone, listen to Trish. Let's share our dreams and our passions, because the more we share with each other, the more universe is going to support us, and we can support each other. Thank you for your time and sharing with us who you are, and what courage looks like for you, so that others can maybe start thinking about what courage is for them and how they can use it in their own life.
I love it. Thank you, Terry. I love your group and the support that you're giving people. You're such an inspiration. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you very much. All right. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for being with us today. Okay. Bye-bye.